Hey everybody. Standard video, not a stream today. So I've been thinking lately. Um, Honestly, I think as gamers, um, we all need to be better. And by better, what do I mean? I'm not talking about being better at gaming. I mean being better gamers. Now, a lot of people are really entrenched heavily in trying to tell you how to play your game, trying to tell you what games to play, and really honestly, it's all bullshit. Um, you should absolutely play the games that you want to play. You should absolutely play games the way that you want to play them. You absolutely should not tell other people how to play their games and how to play and what games to play. It's a losing proposition to try to do so. If somebody has a favorite game and they don't want to play anything else, respect that. It's simple. They don't need to conform to your ideals of gaming. They don't need to conform to your desire to play a game with them. And before you pull out the pitchforks and the torches, I'm not saying that everybody sucks. I'm not saying that everybody is a horrible gamer. I'm not saying everybody needs to necessarily stop and take a moment and think about what they're doing as a gamer, because I know that a lot of this is very isolated to specific corners of gaming and specific groups, and it varies on a scale, a spectrum, if you will, um, from player to player. And I also know that a lot of times it comes from a perceived place, a perceived position of positivity. You know, we want people to play the games that we like. We want people to play games in new ways. We want to expand their horizons and teach them how to play new games, but not everybody wants to learn new games and not everybody wants to change the way that they play games. Um, if somebody is playing a game in a way that you really don't like, then just don't engage with it. You know, let them do their thing unless it's hurting somebody or is actually like horrible behavior and requires some higher power, some authority figure, in which case you should go through the proper channels for that. But that's not what I'm talking about here. Talking about just being a decent person, being a decent gamer, and just accepting the fact that there are so many games out there and so many flavors of even the same game. There's no point in warring over it or arguing, belittling people, making them feel horrible, or not trying to make them feel horrible, but gatekeeping people out of into certain corners or out of certain areas of the game. Um, you absolutely have control over what goes at your goes on at your table, but that's the extent of your authority in the hobby. I mean, really, anybody else can do whatever the hell they want at other tables and at their tables. Um, Public spaces like conventions and stuff, you have to conform to the rules of the convention and the rules of society and being decent people. Um, but when it comes to being a gamer, I think you do the hobby the best service you can by respecting people's wishes in the hobby, by respecting people's opinions in the hobby, and just understanding and accepting that we are all very different people and we all like to enjoy the hobby in different ways. Don't beat people over the head with your rule system du jour that you really, really want to play. Don't you know don't niggle at people and belittle them for wanting to play an edition of a game that you don't particularly favor. There's no win there. You're not going to convince them to play, especially if you come at it in an aggressive and negative way. Now I realize this sound comes across as a little bit preachy, but it is something that's been on my brain, and I've kind of gone through a bit of this myself. I'm an older gamer. I am of the current grognard crop that's ripening on the vine. That said, I'm a pretty open-minded gamer, and I tend to flex a bit. But even still, there are versions of games that I like, and there are the styles of play that I'm really less interested in. And more and more, I'm starting to feel like I don't need to accept other people's games, other people's ways of playing games. But at the same time, if I'm going to hold that for myself, I have to be willing to hold that for others. They don't have to conform to me. So I'm going to cut it off there. Again, let's all be better gamers by respecting our fellow gamers and the way that they want to play. Have a good one, folks. I'll see you next Sunday for the stream. And then next Monday, we also have the By the Sword game. But until then, get out and game.